It's good to welcome aboard Mr. Jimmy Chase here on ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. Jimmy, good morning, man. Thanks for the time.
How y'all doing? You know, that's
Um,
what Jim.
it's been wild, man, and we were talking about it yesterday. And Jamar has developed, and we were talking to Mickey Joseph, and Mickey Joseph has seen him from the recruitment to the development to all the awards to all the records. And he will tell you that over the last year and a half, he may have matured more than anybody in that building. You have seen that. What has gone into that?
I don't know. I mean, like, I think Jamal has bought into the process. Him and I have talked about this for a long time, and like I always could see it, but he never was able to see it. So now I think he's actually able to see the whole process happening.
When you guys were going through recruiting, he was committed to Florida. He thought about TCU. I know you the whole time were listening to LSU and we're in LSU's corner. It was really Miss Talia that LSU had to win over.
Right.
Take me back to that time and kind of what the message was of what LSU could do for Jamar and kind of now how it's worked out.
Well, a lot of people was whining and dining Jamar and, and selling him this thing. All Jamar wanted to do was catch some balls. Yeah. So, he never looked into the depth chart. He never looked into the schedule. He never looked into the conference. He didn't look into all of those things. He just wanted to play, and I had to kind of like help guide him into what goes on in the process of picking a team and a good fit for him, you know? Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Wait, so Jimmy, then take me back to year one with Jamar, where the offense maybe wasn't what was promised, not that wide open. He didn't get all the balls that he would have wanted to. Was like in that offseason after year one, do you remember a moment, did you ever have a conversation with him where he was like, just wait, Dad, this second year it's going to be different. This new coach, the offense is changing. Do you remember any conversations like that?
Kind of, sort of, but he really knew that, he was even more hungry after the first year because he's seen what he could, what he was capable of doing. And, it was some circumstances, coach's decisions and things like that everything didn't pan out as he would like it to have, but he was just ready to get back to show the coaches that he was that dude or he could be that dude. And, his mindset had changed. He learned how to be more of a college football player instead of a high school football player. Because in high school, he could just go out there and do whatever he wanted to do against those guys. So in college, he just had to learn some different techniques, route running, all of those kind of things,
Yeah, well, I think he learned, Jimmy, winning the Biletnikoff, dominating the Natty. I mean, the stats are out of this world. Do you have it's such a crazy year. Do you have a moment as a dad that stands out to you above the rest from last season?
Yeah, the Biletnikoff winner,
Wait, so you how was the award ceremony? What went through you when it was announced that your son had just won the award for best receiver in the nation as a true sophomore?
Well, it was crazy, right? Because everybody was telling me, man, y'all going to win. And I was like thinking, like, we might win. But as it got closer to, the announcement, I was like, well, at least it was a good season, and, like, we did good, And then when they called his name, we just went numb. Yeah. If you looked at the video, I jumped up, right, when they called his name, and his mom was sitting there, and I was like, get up. She said, I can't move my legs.
Mr. Jimmy Chase, Jamar's dad, joining us here, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. You're a New Orleans native. Your family's from New Orleans. That individual moment for Jamar winning that award, the Biletnikoff, of course, was a highlight and a high point. But what about winning the national championship in the Dome?
And, like, being the reason why you won the Natty. I mean, he separated that game.
Crazy, right? I'm like, I still haven't got a grasp on that yet, because, like, so much has happened since that time, and it's like, I couldn't even imagine that. I couldn't even picture that situation, but I was happy for him to get his first touchdown in the Superdome. And, you know, the biggest thing with that game was, like, a lot of people don't know, that's Jamar's first championship in football.
Oh, wow.
You know, like, he went to the state championship in high school where we lost in the championship game. But in football, he never won a championship. In basketball, he played basketball. So he has all kinds of championships for basketball, but he never won in football. So, you know, me and him, like, knew what was going on. I was feeling for my son because I know how excited he was to win his first football championship. That's why you couldn't find him nowhere on the field. And he was, you know, he was out there crying and enjoying his moments, you know, but it was crazy, bro. That was so much better than everything else.
The 2019 season, man, it was magical. You mentioned the coaching and Rummel state championship, the appearance there. Jay Roth, Ed Ogeron, Mickey Joseph. He's had some pretty good coaches in his life. Talk about the guys that have kind of been influential in his football life.
Well, I give Jay Roth a whole lot of credit for that, right? Because you know, I told Coach Roth, you know, I said, Coach, you run the football team the way you run it, and I respect the way you do it. I said, but my son is a receiver, and I need to get him to some camp so he can get exposure, you know, because he's a receiver, and you run the ball. And he was like, I don't have a problem with that, but you can't miss this and you can't miss that. I was like, no problem. So we had an understanding that as long as we don't miss no practice, Jamar can do what he do. And then, you know, Jamar made sure he never missed any practice. He instilled some values and some goals in Jamar, and he has a weight program that's off the chain, you know, and that's Jamar's secret right there. The weight program at Rummel, you know, it put him over the top. But Jay Roth did that, and I told him, you know, when I got there, I said, Coach, I'm going to put him in your hands. I'm going to let you take care of my son, and he did a good job with him. Mickey Joseph was another one. In the recruiting process, Mickey was the only one that could get to Jamal.
Wow.
Right? He knew Jamal. He understood Jamal. He didn't talk about football with Jamal. Jamal was so burnt out with talking about football because everybody come here, you can be this, you can be that, you can do this. And Jamal would look at people like he was crazy. But Mickey would talk about, you know, like food and, you know, games and anything else.
Yeah.
And Jamal bought into that. And then Coach O came in, and he was like, you know, everybody say he's a good recruiter. I'm like, okay, well, I want to see this. And he recruited us. He recruited me, okay, more or less. But what he did was he brought the whole staff to my house.
Wow.
Right? So, you know, I'll see him on a visit. He was like, Jimmy, I can't wait for the house visit, for the in-home visit. When I come with the in-home visit, I'm bringing the whole staff. I'm like, okay, Coach. So I'm thinking he's just going to bring the whole offensive side of the staff. He brought the offense and the defense.
I remember the picture.
Wow.
I remember the picture. Yeah.
I'm like, they just kept coming. I'm like, man, this shit is crazy.
Talking to Jimmy Chase right now on Off the Bench, 104.5, 100.3, 94.7 ESPN. Man, that is a great story, dude. I love that, Jimmy. So looking forward to this year. He's wearing number 7. He Biletnikoff winner. He lost. You know, Jets has gone to the NFL. It's him and Marshall now.
Paw Patrol.
Where's his head at in terms of like because now he's the guy, right? Like now on top of just being the best player, now he's also got to take on this leadership role. Have y'all discussed that at all?
Yeah, we've been discussed that, and I mean Jamar is just a natural with that. You know, he leads like on the field. You know, that's his leadership style by his play. But I'm like, sometimes you have to open up your mouth. And, you know, he's getting comfortable with that. But he leads by example, you know. And the thing with number 7, I'm not really worried about that because, like, Jamar, he shows up when the lights come on.
Yes,
he does.
Yes, that is.
Yes,
we all know
does.
that, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Yes,
he shows up when the lights come on. I mean, he's like, I asked him one year, like, I think it was his freshman year. I'm like, Jamar, like, you ever get nervous when you get out there? It's like, you know, you get butterflies or anything. It's like, yeah, it's just a game. I'm like, golly, okay? You know, it's just a game. Yeah, it's a game. But, you know, he just takes it in stride and he goes and do what he do, you know?
Jimmy,
I love
this was
it, Jimmy.
great radio,
Thank
man.
you so much,
It was
man.
great to see you yesterday, and we're going to do this again.
Yeah. No problem, man.
All right, man.
all the time, bro. Thanks for calling.
Always.
Yes, sir. Take it easy, Jimmy. Thank
There
you,
he
sir.
is. God, he got that New Orleans draw, storyteller,
I love New Orleans, actually.
and his son's the best wide receiver in college football. Good for you, Jimmy. Thanks for stopping by this morning with us here on OTB.